Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Thursday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Aina Koyo. In the news tonight, Crossroad Distribution Namibia held an emergency drill simulation on the road organized in Walfish Bay. This was aimed at raising awareness about road safety regarding a vehicle that bumped into a fuel tanker. The event brought together members of the Health and Safety and traffic authorities, all dedicated to educating people during such an incident. Crossroad Safety Officer Ludwig Fries tells us more. Frida Moloto reports.
From Crossroads Distribution, and we have an obligation to have an en-route drill once a year. So this is our drill. It was a scenario where our tanker was on its way, fully loaded with a mixed load to Windhoek, and one of the vehicles drove into our tanker, and the spill occurred with a possible fire, and the driver secured the scene, and then he notified his supervisor who activated the emergency response team of Walfish Bay.
GIZ Country Director Tobias Kester addressed the launch of the E-Bikes for Africa pilot project. The program includes 18 students from the Namibia University of Science and Technology and 18 from the University of Namibia, selected via a rigorous process. Students will use electric bicycles for daily commuting for the 3 months, evaluating efficiency, safety and transportation costs. Success could lead to the expanded bicycle use citywide. Have a look.
You see still a division in the city planning, in the design of town, marked by infrastructure and by distance. The rich and the poor are separated systematically and with a lot of effort. The poorer you are, the further away you are from the city center, the further away you are from the services the city has to offer. And another aspect I would like to highlight, Windhoek is a city built for cars. If you don't have a car, you're not able to participate. And it has a democratic element to it. If you're not able to participate, you're not part of the society. And I think we have to overcome that. And therefore, I'm very glad with this pilot project we try to allow people to participate in the life of the city.
The Trans-Kalahari Corridor Secretariat headquarters were inaugurated in Windhoek earlier today. The objective of the TKCMC is to simply cross-border transaction and custom operations along the corridor. Yolanda Nell has more.
Let me take this opportunity to thank you, Honorable Mutora, for having made this event possible. It may be viewed as having taken time, but we don't view it that way. We view it as planning and executing and ensuring that things are done seamlessly. Do more to actualize the ideals of our founding fathers who always dreamt of a united Africa, who always dreamt of an Africa that was trading amongst itself, who dreamt of an Africa that could build and maintain infrastructure to prove beyond doubt that Africa can on its own do it.
When the memorandum of understanding was signed between these three countries, establishing the Trans-Kalahari Corridor, let me also state that early in the 1990s, our leaders, top leaders, presidents, in this particular case, President Nujoma and President Masire, thought it right to open up the Trans-Kalahari Corridor,
Christening the new permanent home of the Trans-Kalahari Corridor Secretariat. And I want to believe that we must applaud the demonstration of tangible commitment by Namibia, which is our one host nation. It is in our collective interest and that of the region and the continent that this collaboration must succeed. And I can tell you now that we shall not fail. We are going to succeed. We are going to succeed because we are committed to see this to fruition. Its success will provide invaluable lessons to address similar challenges in the region and elsewhere in the continent. The progress made in delivering on the objectives of this partnership, as presented in our meeting this morning, is a clear indication that we are on the right path in unblocking the intractable challenges that hold back our development.
The very first Namibia-EU Business Forum on green hydrogen and critical materials will place on the 24th and 25th of October in Belgium. The Namibia Board for the Promotion of Investment and Development helps to promote the participation of local businesses. This announcement was made yesterday during the annual Mining Expo by the Deputy Head of Mission of the European Union to Namibia, Gosia Lunch. Now, in her speech to the mining conference held annually by the Namibian Chamber, Lunch said the demand for the critical minerals is now at its highest and is expected to continue to grow. Have a look.
Are indispensable for a wide range of technologies needed for strategic sectors such as the net zero industry, digital, space and defense. While the demand for such critical raw materials has never been higher, it is expected to continue to grow, driven by the green and digital twin transition. EU demand for lithium, for example, is expected to increase by 12-fold by 2030. On the margins of the COP27 conference in November last year, the European Union concluded a strategic partnership with Namibia on sustainable raw materials value chains and renewable hydrogen. This landmark agreement, the most important in the last 20 years of my work in the EU, championed by Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and President of Namibia, His Excellency Hage Geingob, marked a very significant milestone in EU-Namibia relations. The partnership will support Namibia in using its mineral resources to underpin a sustainable, clean and inclusive economic growth and create a positive and impactful change on the ground. It will also help realize Namibia's aspirations to extract and add value locally to mineral raw materials. We are trying to link Namibian companies to EU potential investors and off-takers through the cooperation with the European Raw Material Alliance and the European Battery Alliance, which unite EU companies along the entire raw materials value chain.
In the Story of the Day segment, the Rundu Abattoir has been inaugurated today by the Agriculture Minister. After the break.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in to Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Midco CEO Mwilima Mushokombaji and Agriculture Minister Carl Schleitwein speak at the handover of the Rundu Abattoir. Have a look.
The facility has a slaughter capacity of between 80 and 120 cattle per day. And in addition, the abattoir is also designed and geared to slaughter small stock. At this capacity, this facility provides a market for livestock producers, not only in this region, but from neighboring regions as well. The benefit would therefore accrue to all farmers from Kavango West, Kavango East, Ohangwena, and maybe also Shikoto. I need to state that it is not only the only abattoir facility that we have in the northern communal areas. The government has invested in similar state-of-the-art abattoirs over the communal area, mindful of the distance and logistic considerations to bring slaughter-ready cattle to the abattoirs. And I'm talking to the point of the Honourable Governor. It is expensive to bring cattle to slaughterhouses, and the shorter the distance, the better. So we have designed and therefore refurbished a number of abattoirs.
Farmers can invest in land reform, they can invest in inputs, they can invest in buying feeds, agriculture can invest in agricultural extension to make sure that the best quality of cattle are produced. But ultimately what pulls the cattle into this abattoir is the price that we pay to the farmer. That's our experience as Mitco. And we strongly believe, Honorable Governor, that if we are able to offer the farmers a competitive price, and I want to define what is the meaning of a competitive price. A competitive price basically means that if we can pay a farmer for the cattle that Mitco is basically buying from you, a price that will help you meet all your operational costs and you are able to retain a profit, then I strongly believe that many people are going to retire and be in agriculture. The role of an abattoir is not to slaughter, to chew, to debone. The role of an abattoir is to produce agripreneurship who are appetized by the price that us that operate abattoirs are paying the farmers. We can have the best abattoirs here, but if we don't incentivize you to maintain you remain in agriculture, then we will have serious problems here. So as Mitco, we have that responsibility together with the Minister of Agriculture to make sure that we pay the farmers the competitive price, but we also, most importantly, is to make sure we pay you timely.
Moving on to community news, President Hage Geingob expressed his desire to establish a legacy after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
President Hage Geingob expressed his desire to establish a legacy characterized by the presence of institutions and systems that would allow anyone to assume his position.
Would be my legacy. I live here that it's not the person that matters, it will be processes, systems, and institutions. So if you have that in place, anybody can come and take over. So that's what I'm trying to prepare. So welcome, and the experts can talk about the health situation as I've introduced it. It's tough. During the COVID period, I don't know. It was my second term. Inauguration, I had to cancel everything, lock down everything. And some people have said that helped us. And of course, you're coming in with, but anyway, we waited. But we paid, and we said we are left out. And some friends came, India and China came before our own paid vaccines came. So that's terrible. They taught us that we are one in this world. There was no discrimination, no rich country, no poor, no black, white. We all suffer equally. And I hope that what we have taught us is a one world we are living in. I try to coin the concept of one Namibia, one nation, one Africa, one continent, one world, one village.
According to Economic News, DBN and KfW signed a second concessional loan after the break.
to another exciting episode of Iran Work Talk.
Het is weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
The Development Bank of Namibia and KfW Development Bank signed the second concessional loan, about 600 million Namibian dollars, to be used for the development of climate-related infrastructure such as renewable energy, water and low-carbon transport projects. Climate-appropriate financing is fast-growing not only globally but also in Namibia. The DBN addresses this much-needed financing in the local market with the support of the German Development Corporation. DBN's portfolio of climate mitigating projects encompasses infrastructure projects for solar photovoltaic and wind generation, as well as rural and urban water infrastructure and public transport projects. Now let's have a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades for 23 Namibian dollars 84 cents to 1 British pound. 1 euro gets you 20 Namibian dollars 43 cents, and 18 Namibian dollars 86 gets you 1 US dollar. Copper and Brent crude oil have increased, with the copper at 0.85% and Brent crude oil at 1.18%. Gold and platinum have both dropped. Gold at 0.19%. In international news, more than 70 dead in Johannesburg building blaze. We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country. In international news tonight, survivors of the blaze, which killed more than 70 people in Johannesburg earlier today, described how they escaped the smoke-filled apartment block. The blaze killed at least 73 people and injured 43, the municipal government said, in one of South Africa's worst such tragedies in living memory.
First, I'm losing my sister. 3 sisters already I'm loose, and also my thing. I didn't any things I didn't bring from inside, because that time I was ready to protect my life, you know. And my sister, she lived with the small daughter, and my in-law, she just hit the window and to throw the daughter outside. The people, they just take the daughter on while it was on the air.
The actual fire escape was closed, so there was a lot of people, you know, a lot of people smoke, people suffocated, a lot of people died because of the smoke, because there was a lot of pressure at the gates. Some of the gates were closed.
It's a 5-story building which caught fire early hours of this morning. We started evacuating the people who were inside the building and also conducting our firefighting operations. At this stage, the total number of people who have been recovered, it's 64, and then the total number of people who were injured or who received minor injuries or moderate injuries is about 43. So that's where we are now. But the number might still increase because of the nature of the incident which we are attending to now.
Indigenous groups from all over Brazil protested in Brasilia against a bill that threatens their ancestral territories. Hundreds of indigenous people marched and rallied outside Brazil's Supreme Court to see the restart of the discussion on the demarcation of indigenous land. The proposed law would impose a cut-off date for ancestral land claims in 1988, the year Brazil's current constitution was enacted. Any indigenous community that did not occupy their lands by that date would not be allowed to make a claim according to the proposed legislation. Indigenous activists rejected the bill, arguing that many indigenous people are historically expelled from their ancestral territories, especially during the military dictatorship. After the break, we return with weather. The maximum temperatures in the northern region is around 35.4 degrees Celsius, while the minimum temperature is around 13.9 degrees. The weather conditions are clear throughout the day. The maximum temperature along the coast is around 20 degrees, while the minimum temperature is around 18.8 degrees. The weather conditions are clearing in the afternoon. After the break, we bring you a sports package courtesy of Sports Rep.
Namibians are still safe.
Everywhere else, the Supreme Court said we are not going to rely on foreign judgments.
By all means, we try to not make journalists public figures, but at the end of the day, they are.
Very good evening. My name is Taiwan Jabala, your host.
With their Protestant offsprings.
But the implementation, like she's saying, is another thing.
Good evening and welcome to today's Sunset News, brought to you by SportRep. I'm your host, Limba Mupetami. Seasoned race director Berthold Karamendu suggests it is time for Namibia to identify young distance runners to replace those nearing the end of their careers. Karamendu believes that those who have been in half and full marathon competitions over the years are reaching retirement age. The Walvis Bay Motor Club is hosting their popular Shell V Power Swakop rally featuring 10 special stage sections that will provide thrilling action near Swakopmund on Saturday. Lastly, the Nedbank City Dash is slated to take place at Zoo Park and Windhoek on the 10th of September. There will be 5 kilometers and 10 kilometer races. Today is the last day to enter the City Dash and 10 days till the dash takes place. Well, of course, if you have not entered, please do enter. With that, this ends today's Sunset News. We will be back again tomorrow, so do make sure to catch us then.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Thank you very much for watching our show tonight. Here are the highlights. E-Bikes for Africa launched a pilot project. The program includes 18 students from the Namibia University of Science and Technology and 18 from the University of Namibia, selected via a rigorous process. The President Hage Geingob expressed his desire to establish a legacy characterized by the presence of the institutions and systems that would allow anyone to assume his position. Season race director Berthold Karumendu suggests it is time for Namibia to identify young distance runners to replace those nearing the end of their careers. Karumendu believes that those who have been in half and half full marathon competitions over the years are reaching their retirement age. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website called oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV 285 as well as GoTV 25 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. This has been Sunset News. Please don't end your day without us. Good night.